All right, out at Fort Polk's Joint Readiness Training Center, rotational units faced a host of obstacles, combat scenarios that they could see during future deployments.
That's right. In part 2 of our series, Always Ready, I take a look at the unique human aspect of the training that makes it realistic. What looks like a foreign country is actually the simulated ground combat training area here at Fort Polk's Joint Readiness Training Center. But it's the more than 200 role players that help bring the villages to life. Go, 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 go! Villagers riot outside of the American consulate in Sangari, established by soldiers with the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 25th Infantry Division from Hawaii, training at JRTC. This is just one of several scenarios often inspired by current events that rotational units are faced with.
When the U.S. forces don't respond effectively to the citizens, then we actually have demonstrations. We have battles where we are attacked, accidental shootings, or misidentification, interacting with the populace at checkpoints, security checkpoints that are set up.
Role players portray everything from displaced citizens desperate for food.
Ma'am, it's all trash. There's no food in there.
Water and medical attention.
Trust me.
To the United Nations, local law enforcement,
You let us know how we can help.
and government officials like Lloyd Ellison, who plays a deputy provincial governor. His job is to help teach troops how to work with foreign governments.
If they do not interface effectively with the civilian populace and the governments, then there's automatically a problem. This aspect that we do here puts them on a real playing field that they have to be able to deal with, because when you are across the waters in a foreign country, think back to what you learned here.
Ellison, a Vietnam veteran who spent 26 years in the military, says he knew this was a job for him after his first rotation. That was 10 years ago.
We were doing training with a lot of the U.S. forces for Afghanistan. And when we saw what we did in Iraq, that I knew this would be a good opportunity to pass on some knowledge to them.
Vicki Gibson plays a business owner and is also a group leader. She started role-playing 11 years ago after spending 2 years in Baghdad as a private contractor. During deployments, soldiers often bring humanity to conflict-stricken areas.
Our role as a female is a little different, because when you go into these foreign countries, you treat a female differently.
The guys don't have to look, just me.
If you go into a town or a village and you disrespect those females, it could be the difference between winning or losing that town. The more you win them over, the more you're going to learn about the enemy and where they may be located.
The scenarios can be dramatic.
Push buttons.
Hey, she can't keep down food either.
Role players might scream and cry, with the goal of challenging troops who are often sleep-deprived and on high alert to think critically.
Some of them come in here and they don't always know how to treat us. We've had some come in that were just out of their way trying to be nice.
And while soldiers have to problem solve, role players stay in character for 12 or more hours at a time. But for Ellison, Gibson, and others, it's time well spent.
I keep thinking, if this were my son or my daughter or my husband, brother, sister, I would want somebody that was sincere to train them to bring them back home alive. That's what it's all about. The bottom line is getting our guys and gals back alive.
That goes with the job. We understand it. It's mission essential. We don't complain too much.
On Fort Polk, Lydia Magallanes for News Channel 5, your local station. And many of the role players have some sort of tie to the military, being veterans, have children who serve, or they've worked as private contractors overseas. And you can join us again tomorrow for part 3 of this series, where I speak with soldiers from a rotational unit at JRTC.
I think you had a lot of fun on this story.
I did. I dedicated quite a few hours, and I had a lot of help from ops groups. So